And we're recording. Thank you, Sabrina. All right, so I'm Christine Edwards. I'm the owner and principal of Amplify Consulting. We are headquartered in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I met the conference host. I met one of the conference hosts, Masita, when I was actually finishing up my undergrad education in Greensboro. And so I have a really deep connection to North Carolina. My business is in North Carolina. I grew up here. And so a lot of the examples are going to come from North Carolina. However, you can always find the local certification agency in your local state or your local town. All right. So this conversation really got started because I'm an outreach consultant, and I got most of my contracts, well, I got most of my work really through the government contract process. And so, you know, in serving my clients, I learned that, you know, just basically the steps in order to take to be a good sub-consultant and to be a good consultant to these public projects. And then my friends and my colleagues who are also business owners, they say, hey, how did you get that contract? How did you do that? You know? And so then I said, well, maybe this could be a section of my business that I could offer some training around it. So today's agenda, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself and about Amplify. We're going to talk about the 2 R's. Relationships and results. These are very important letters and important words when it comes to government contracting. Understanding the opportunity that we have, especially as women. I see that we have women in this session. Number 4, we're going to talk about preparing your company for government and public sector work. We're going to talk about the next steps that you need to take, you know, in order to get in front of government clients. And then I'll tell you where you can find us online. And I hope that you'll join us. I hope that you'll join me in my online community after this session too. All right, so we started in 2018. We deliver outreach services like surveys, focus groups, civic education, and we also offer some resources for small businesses who would like to pursue government contracts. This is our mission. We help communities grow with dignity. We believe it is important to be plugged into your community. And we believe that business owners should understand how to use public resources. So as you can see, those are the 2 service offerings. I offer community engagement consulting. And then the training part is called the Contract Academy. And this is a platform that has on-demand video courses. I have some virtual workshops and a 90-day academy for small and medium-sized businesses in order to learn how to win contracts. And I'll tell you some more about that towards the end of the presentation. So this graphic down at the bottom is just an example of the live webinar training that we did in, I think this was February or March of this year. It's been such a long year. And so at the beginning of the year, we started out with a lot of live training events. And ever since then, you know, we've gotten so many questions about how to really get your business ready. I want to know, let me know in the chat, how many of y'all are already working with government clients? Just put a yes if you have worked on a contract, either as a prime or a sub. Okay, let's see. Yes, okay, great. And so it looks like you're, you know, if you want to add anything here, I welcome your advice. I welcome you to add, because sometimes people's experiences could be different, okay? It could be different, all right? And I see 1 yes and I see 1 no. So, you know, let me know, are you familiar with this work? All right, relationships plus results equals revenue. Let me say that again. Relationships plus results equals revenue. Think about your past relationships. Evaluate the past relationships that you've had in your business. Think about the projects that you've completed in the past and your clients that were really happy with the work that you did, right? So you're going to want to, when you are approaching government clients or you're going to respond to a bid opportunity, you want to have at least 3 past projects that you can think of that were successful, because you're going to list those projects and you're going to list those contacts as your references. So you want to make sure you've gotten 3 good results. It doesn't have to be in the government space. It's better if it is for a public sector client, so they'll know that you have experience doing that, but it does not necessarily have to be, okay? So that's number 1, is evaluate your past relationships. Number two, research the opportunities. It's important to know where to find these bid opportunities and how you can be one of the first to know about them. And getting certified is an awesome way to get on a list. You basically get on a list to be the first to know about these opportunities. And then number three, start collecting those wins. Government contracting is a very proactive sport, okay? It's a sport. It's not really much of a sit back and wait type of thing. You really want to make sure that you are proactive in getting your business ready for this. All right. So understand the opportunity, understanding the market. What is the market in the United States? So according to usaspending.gov, the federal government spent $4.11 trillion in 2018 on vendors and on procurement, even though the government shutdown lasted 35 days. And we thought that was the biggest crisis that we've had in a while, right? Now we've got a pandemic that's lasted almost a year at this point, right? And so the government is continuously spending money. There's always going to be a market for this. The market fluctuates, but there's always going to be a market. Small businesses are always going to have an opportunity to provide these services and products while unemployment rises. Even when unemployment is going up, governments still have to spend money, okay? So that's the opportunity there. Then when you talk about women-owned businesses, the opportunity for us is very unique because we're growing in number. And I don't want you all to think that that is going to create more competition or the market is going to be flooded. That's not necessarily always the case. I think that what you'll find, and I'm sure you guys probably know this because we're almost at the end of 2020 and you're still doing professional development, you're still building yourselves up. So it's really about consistency. Even though the number of women-owned businesses is growing, the opportunities are still there. It is a little bit more competitive, but that's why getting certified is going to make you that much more competitive, okay? And so you guys saw this stat in our previous session. You know, the numbers have grown in the past 5 years. They've jumped about 21%. But we do know women, although we are starting businesses at higher rates, we know that we're not necessarily lasting as long. We don't have the longevity, we don't have the hiring power, and we don't have the revenue power that other businesses experience. All right, and this report was put together by American Express. If you get a chance, it's a really good report. It's a 2019 State of Women-Owned Business report. All right, and again, minority-owned business. Who else thought this number was kind of low? I tried to find, I said, is that the right number? Is that the right number? Put in the chat if you thought this number was low, because to me, I thought that the number of minority-owned businesses or the percentage would be higher than that. But truly, when you think about it, we live in a majority-minority country, right? So when it comes to those ethnic categories, you have a lot more people of color now, and this is very recent, than white folks as an aggregate, right? As an aggregate. But what we're learning is that the power of just the traditions in our country, right, has allowed for generations, right? And so this is really generational owned businesses that are owned by mostly white folks. So when it comes to these minority owned businesses, they're a lot newer and they make up a smaller portion of the whole. All right. And then this is the stats on minority-owned businesses. And this report is from the Minority Business Development Alliance, MBDA. Y'all let me know if y'all have any questions about these statistics. I'm not going to go over all of them, but I want to give you a chance to scan them. Okay. All right, so that's the opportunity in the US. I know we might have some folks that are from outside the US. in this conference today. So I wanted to paint a picture of what the potential market is worldwide. There's a global market for government spending. When you think about public sector purchases or purchases that are for, that go towards vendors, worldwide, 15 to 20% is a good number to look at. When you have a really progressive country, like some of the countries in Europe, some of the countries in South America, they are spending 15 to 20% of their public funds on procurement, on vendors. Okay, so when you're doing your research, if you are into the global market, that's a good number to look at. All right, so what do governments buy? You probably want to know, is your business fit to be a government vendor? And I saw someone in the chat say that, you know, they have worked contracts before, which is great, but just not on the government side. So you want to know, you know, is this something that they're going to buy? So the government splits their funding category into a couple of different categories. And the first one is goods and commodities. For example, a good and commodity could be construction. Thinking about really physical things that you can touch, like construction of buildings, construction of roads, and then everything that goes around construction, like the porta-johns, hauling and dumping services, and then also the buildings themselves, but then what goes inside the buildings, like office supplies, furniture, printing, mailing, stationery. Information technology should not be in that category. That's a typo. And so those are your goods and commodities, but also something that a lot of folks don't always think about, a good and commodity. I came across this recently. Community colleges have cosmetology schools. I had a client who is in the beauty space, and she said, well, there's nothing for me here. And so I said, you know, what about a cosmetology school? I actually saw an RFP for nail manicure kits in order to teach manicuring, right? And I know there's a term for that, right? And then also mannequins when it comes to these beauty kits. So they need vendors, they need suppliers that can supply these things. And that's just one example, okay? Professional services. This is where this is my area. You're gonna have a lot of minority-owned businesses are actually in the professional services field, like media relations, marketing, training, leadership training, coaching, community outreach, catering, strategic planning services, IT, land design, architecture, interior design, and then of course, admin services. A lot of times admin services is overlooked, but because governments do that in-house, but they also outsource for that. And this third category is social services. Governments, not only do they take care of your infrastructure and the things that you see, they also take care of our education, our health, our environment. So the social services category are going to be businesses that provide after-school care, career coaching, SAT prep, diversity and inclusion coaching. That's a social service. State-sponsored programs like WIC and SNAP and you know, Department of Social Services programs that if they don't have the capacity in-house, they will hire a vendor to come and administer those programs. Health and nutrition. This is a huge one in 2020 because the government was not prepared to respond to the coronavirus for a number of reasons. And so what they ended up doing was they hired these outside firms to come in and do these COVID testing locations. So the big ones that won off the bat are going to be your big healthcare providers, my local hospital, Atrium Health. Big, huge healthcare providers are going to come in and be able to supply that contract. However, they hire sub-consultants. And so if you are a healthcare provider or if you are a nursing staffing organization, that's an awesome opportunity for you. All right. Okay. How to find out if your company has a highly sought after product or service. This is information about NAICS codes, NAICS. and you're actually going to go to a website, naics.com, and you're going to type in the keyword for your company or your service, and you're going to see if that is a sought after service. Okay, and so that's where I got these from. I got these from NAICS.com. Okay, all right. This is just a snippet. I'm just gonna really quickly, because this is super local. This is from our local paper. And what they found was that in 2018, the city of Charlotte spent about 18% of the total contracts on minority firms. And that's a lot of money. But if you look at the end of that sentence, that eclipsed the goal of 14%. Their goal was low. And the reason that the goal is low is because we're not showing up as minority and women-owned firms and saying, hey, we're here, the talent pool is here. Oops, sorry. The talent pool is here, right? And so we have to show up and we have to get certified in order for those goals to go up and for the city to spend more money on our firms as a whole. Benefits of certification. So, networking, strategic partnership opportunities, you get put in a group with other, minority certified businesses, women-owned businesses. There's awesome strategic partnership opportunities there. Number 2, free training and educational opportunities. If you get certified at your state level, and you probably saw this when you got your LLC or when you got your, your sole proprietorship. Once you decide to take that leap, they're going to be put on radar, right? And saying, look, here's some opportunities for you. You can access these bid opportunities. Your company information will be added to vendor databases. So you will get phone calls and you will get emails from people saying, hey, we saw that you are a women-owned firm. We saw that you are a Black-owned firm. Will you join our project? And then, of course, you can demonstrate your value. You can have an opportunity to deliver, and you can do that as a subcontractor. So you don't have to take on a big huge contract. You can actually just be a subcontractor, but you can still get that value and you can get paid. Eligibility. So in most states, this is for the state of North Carolina, but I'm pretty sure this is across the board. In order to be eligible for a lot of minority and small business certifications, you must be in these ethnic categories listed here, or female. So if you are a white person and you are a woman, you are still eligible, okay? Minorities or women must own and control at least 51% of their business. So it can't be, it cannot be a franchise. It cannot be like a direct selling sort of relationship. You must be the business owner. You have to be a for-profit entity. So certifications, the ones that I'm talking about, are truly only for-profit businesses. The owner must be an active daily manager. Their personal net worth must not exceed $750,000. That includes real estate and stock ownership and things like that. You have to have a significant presence in the area that you're getting certified. So if you're getting certified in North Carolina, you have to make sure, you don't have to be headquartered here, but you at least have to make sure you have some presence here. And then, of course, you have to make sure that it's a useful function for the government. These are the types of certifications. Y'all let me know if I'm going too fast, or if you have any questions at all. I'm happy to, slow down or anything like that. So these are the most common ones that you'll see. Sometimes you see it's like ABC, right? It's like, what are all these acronyms? Put a yes in the chat if you've seen these acronyms before. Okay, thank you, Denise. Who has seen these before? MBE, DBE, SBE, WBE. Yes, you've seen these before. Of course you have, Jabisha. But so yeah, what do these all mean? And I'm gonna go back real quick. Oops, back. All right. So really quick, To be eligible for local government and state government, federal, to be eligible for these certifications, you must either be a part of a minority category or you must be a woman, okay? And the reason that the government has done this is because we saw those stats, right? We know that in order to level the playing field, there needs to be sort of a designation and there needs to be goals set aside in order to level the playing field when it comes to spending. And the reason that they must control at least 51% of the business is this. There are a lot of male-owned, white-owned firms out there that will put their business in their wife's name, right? In order to gain access to some of these benefits. There are a lot of benefits that come with certification. And so it's kind of like the honor system. Like, you really have to be honest about what is going on and what you're doing. They verify your ethnicity. It's a whole process, y'all. And so there are a lot of really good benefits that come along with this, okay? And again, you do have to be a for-profit because we're talking about vendor relationships. When it comes to the nonprofits, those are going to be grant relationships, okay? So nonprofits all the time get grants from the government. However, when you are a business owner, you don't get the same access to grants, but you can get access to contracts. All right, so I just wanted to go over that again real quick before we get into the alphabet soup. Okay, so MBE stands for Minority Owned Business Enterprise. And when you get your MBE, you can get that, depending on the state that you're in, you can get that on the state level and you can get it on your city level as well. Minority owned business enterprise, again, you're going to be a member of one of those ethnic categories. And then in the middle, you have DBE, disadvantaged business. That's typically, it's just another name for a business that is within one of those ethnic categories. It's kind of an umbrella category, DBE, okay? And then on the end, you have SBE. That is small business enterprise. So small business enterprise deals with the size of your business. It doesn't have to do with your race, your gender. It's just the size of your business. And again, that size is under 750K. So anybody in the US, including males, including white individuals, can get an SBE certification. It's just that when it comes to minorities, you get a MBE or you can get a DBE or a WBE. Okay. Now, this is an example of a local certification. This is an example that I pulled from the city of Charlotte. At the bottom here in that yellow, it says, the city of Charlotte is concerned, what they care about in this certification is the size and value of your business and your personal income. So you can get an SBE certification at the local level, but also you can get an MBE certification at the local level if you are a member of this ethnic category. So what I want you guys to take away from this is that you can get certifications for your gender, your ethnicity, and the size of your business. And you can also get them at different levels of government. All right, state level. So the state level certification, this one in particular is concerned about the ethnic and minority control of the business. So at the state level, they want to know, are you a minority and are you a woman? Because if you are, you can get this certification at the state level. And I always advise people to do this when they get their LLC. If you're on the website, you might as well go ahead and start your application process for that. So again, we have local level and then we have state level. All right. Now we have the federal level. The federal level certifications are concerned with the size of your business and your personal income. There are designations for women also. So the SBA is the federal government certifying body. The SBA is the Small Business Administration, and they can certify your business in terms of your gender. And I think they have an ethnic category as well. And then this logo down here is just the Department of Transportation. Because they spend so much money, they also want to make sure that they are leveling the playing field for minorities as well. Now, I wanted to pull out information just about the SBA because I get a lot of questions about the SBA. The SBA has these different set aside goals when it comes to spending at the federal level. And I'm gonna tell y'all right now, as a small business, you're gonna have more luck winning contracts at the state and local government level than at the federal level. However, if you do want to win a contract at the federal level, they have about 5% set aside for women-owned businesses. They have about 5% set aside for small disadvantaged businesses. And then you have the hub zone, and the hub zone is like a geographic location, and that's based on historically underutilized businesses, mostly in urban areas. And then they also have some money set aside for people who are veterans, veteran-owned businesses. All right. You guys think those numbers are too low? I think they could probably increase those goals, huh? I think so. All right. All right. So we talked about government, we talked about local, state, and federal level certifications for the government. Now, these are private industry certifications. I'm not going to get into them too much. These are certifications that you actually have to pay for. The government ones are free. It takes a lot of paperwork to get through, but they're absolutely free to apply. These right here, these are paid certifications, and they are membership organizations. And they are concerned with the owner's identity, the ethnic and gender identity, and they care a lot about your business reputation and your business results. Because when you become members of these organizations right here, oh man, this is like the key to unlocking all of those corporate relationships. And so that's a discussion for another day, okay? In the same way that this is the key to unlocking corporate relationships, those other certifications are the key to unlocking government buying relationships. All right. I think we have about 20 minutes left. Completing your certification package. How do you make sure you get all your paperwork done and you're submitting the right documents the first time, so it's not taking you forever to get it done? This is actually something that I offer my clients. Well, I used to offer a done for you where I would actually walk you through the process and help you collect all this information. It just became so time consuming. And that's why I created that platform that has these resources. But you're gonna need your articles of organization. That's your LLC paperwork, operating agreement, bank account information. They wanna make sure that you are in control of your bank account, your past tax payments. They want to make sure that you're responsible, for your financial, payments and resources, your profit and loss. You have to actually get, for some states, you have to actually get an ethnicity affidavit notarized just to say that you actually are Black and you're a member of this ethnic community. You want a list of those current projects. Remember I said relationships? You want 3 projects that you've completed, and they want to know that you are actually in business, a list of equipment that you need to conduct your business, right? Mailing address. It's good to have a physical mailing address. You could use a P.O. box. You can use a mailing address service, and they want to know that you have your EIN, your tax ID number is already situated with the IRS. So when it comes time to make your payments, it's going to be recorded. They want to know that you are a citizen of the United States, and of course, reference letters. Most applications will ask for about 2 reference letters. Any questions about that? Has anybody started a certification process yet? Yes, okay. Yes, hub, great. No, okay, got you.
So, Christina,
Mm-hmm.
hi, can I add something or you want me to wait to the end?
Please, go ahead.
So I am in Virginia, and I am actually in the process now. The Minority Business Certification in Virginia is called SWAM,
Mm-hmm.
and so I'm in the process of doing that now. And you're correct; it is so much paperwork. Oh my God! like, like I literally almost want to hire somebody else to do it for me because
Yeah.
it's so overwhelming. So thank you for providing this information as well, because it's been extremely helpful for me. And also it kind of helped me realize that there are still some areas that I need to buckle down and get done for my LLC.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I guess the question I have for you, I know you said that you at one time were kind of offering a done for you, but do you have any services now to still kind of help with this whole process?
I do. I have a consultation link, and I have a hour-long meeting set up. So
Okay.
it's just a meeting where I will talk you through the process and walk you through it. And so that consultation commitment will be 1 hour of, just getting to know you, getting to know where you're at, and then another time you can come back and talk for another 30 minutes and say, okay, this is where I'm at. What do I need in my application? So really, it's like an application review thing. So yeah.
Okay.
hmm
All right.
Now,
Sounds
I'd be happy to share that with you.
okay. Thank you.
Mhm. Other questions before we go on? And I think this is towards the end, so we only have a couple more slides to get through. So after you are certified and you're ready to go, one of the great things about government contracts is the level of transparency that they offer. So they have to have, whenever they put out an RFP, a request for proposals, and that's really like a bid advertisement, or they're advertising that they need this project done, they are required to provide a public meeting, right? Or just an opportunity to ask questions. And so I want you all to, Google some different RFPs in your area and just go and be a fly on the wall. Go and be a fly on the wall in these pre-bid meetings, where you can learn about what questions you should ask about the contract, learn about the budget, learn about the MBE goals. You can network with people, and you can really get your name in the room. If you're not certified yet, if you're not, if your business is not ready, then I wouldn't participate too much. But if you're ready to win these contracts, I would totally say go and get your name in the room. All right. And sometimes if your business doesn't really fit into one of those major categories, you might have to position it a little bit more. So it's really important to get to know who the government client is, get to know what their needs are. Some examples could be a community college. Maybe the community college needs marketing services done, graphic design services done, a state college, cities. And then, of course, our health departments are oftentimes putting out RFPs asking for help. Read budget documents, um, follow contract specialists on LinkedIn, and add them as your friend on LinkedIn, so you can see, some of the updates that they might be putting out, right? Go to the board meetings, learn about where the investment priorities are happening in your hometown, and then Google past RFPs, right? Google, say for example, you wanted to be a part of a project, but you missed the deadline. You can still Google what that RFP was, and you can just read about it and just see what they've done in the past. Where to find these opportunities? You can go to your state purchasing system, your local purchasing website, and you can just Google your state procurement website or purchasing website. There's also a Twitter account. I don't know how active y'all are on Twitter, but it's called RFP Daily. And they put out RFPs in various industries. USAspending.gov, grants.gov. Again, grants are more so for the nonprofit community, but you can kind of look and see where spending is happening. Bidnet.com. And then, of course, you can always sign up for notifications to be sent to your email from the state purchasing system. Okay, now this is where you can find us online. We have some resources. Our main website is amplifycharlotte.com, and that's where you can find out about our consulting clients, you know, the different type of projects that we've done. This is also where you can book a consultation link with us. Book a consultation meeting. This second website mentioned here, getlocalgovernmentcontracts.com, is a resource that me and my team came up with lots of blog articles about getting certified. And then the Contract Academy, which is very, very new service. We hope to launch it by the end of the year. It's not launched yet, y'all, but go to the website and sign up with your email. I would love for you to be one of the first to know about our launch. All right, and we also have a YouTube channel, so you can go on our YouTube and watch a couple of the videos there. The recordings from our webinars from earlier this year are on the YouTube channel. Amplify Charlotte or Amplify Consulting. Okay, Amplify Charlotte or Amplify Consulting on YouTube. All right, I want y'all to win your first contracts. I want you to track your 3 successful relationships. We didn't get to talk about capability statements today. I want you to find your bid opportunities, see if you can go to a pre-bid meeting, and then of course, reach out to me to learn more. And because I'm launching Contract Academy very soon, and I'm excited to be with y'all today, because you attended this workshop, you get 70% off of your consultation for attending today's workshop. And the only place to find that special link is at calendly.com/Christine Edwards/Innovators-Conference. And I'm going to go ahead and put it in the chat so you can go there if you're interested. Calendly.com Edwards. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's, as an entrepreneur, I just have to make sure that I am continuously, you know, sort of growing our community and making sure that we stick together. So I really would, you know, I would really want you all to sort of reach out, find out more about what we're doing, always ask questions. And again, I want to be completely transparent. You know, these certifications are free. I'll put that up. These certifications are free for the government side, right? However, it can just be really time consuming and cumbersome. And so that's why I have this service that will help you through the way. All right, thank you all so much. Thank you. What questions do you have? What conversation can we have in the next 10 minutes or so?
So I do have a question for you, Christine. I got the hub certification and I get the notices. I just haven't seen anything that aligns with what I do. And it's been a struggle because I thought I put a broad category of things. Like, so what I put was professional development, the training, and marketing, and a couple other things, but there hasn't been a lot of opportunity that's come through. Is it just because of the areas that I chose, or?
Are you in North Carolina? You're in.
Oh, I'm in Texas.
You're in Texas. Okay. It really just depends. It depends on what your local community is in need of. So when it comes to leadership training, I would even go, have you gone on to what city are you in?
I'm in Edinburgh, Texas. I even serve on the EDC board. And I'm a retiree from the city, but I haven't done any of the local certifications. I don't even know if my city offers the local certifications.
They might just do a state level certification. And then what the major cities will do, the major cities will have a local certification, but then it encompasses those surrounding counties. So even if the county that you live in doesn't have a certification, you might be able to go to a bigger city that's nearby and get that certification, and you can be within that service area, right? And so I guess for leadership training or diversity training, one of the things that you could do, you could actually proactively reach out and look in their, see if any of them have like an office of equity, right? Or you can look in their housing office and see if they have any training opportunities coming up. With January coming up, this is kind of the start of the government budget season. And so now is a good time to start shopping around your services. So, traditionally you would kind of sit back and wait for an RFP to become available, but you might actually have to go out and be proactive. Are you signed up for the email notifications?
Yes, I received emails through Hub.
Through Hub.
Yes, and I even went to a conference that the state put on because I thought maybe I'm just not getting it, but I still have no real clarity around it.
Got it. So the other thing you can do, if they don't have anything in your particular area, like as the title of the contract, you can look in other areas. Like, for example, I feel like Texas is big on energy and transportation. Okay. So think about what you can offer as a sub-consultant on those contracts, right? So I heard you say marketing. So maybe even if it's not up your alley, but if they have some big energy contract coming up, go and be a fly on the wall in the pre-bid meeting and say, hey, do you need a minority firm on your team? Because I can do your marketing for you.
Got it. Okay.
And
that makes sense.
That's how I got my start, because I don't do land design, but my first contract in Charlotte was a land design contract because they were redeveloping a park, but they needed somebody local to do the community outreach. They hired a firm from Boston for this multi-million-dollar contract, and they found my name on the list and said, we need this local firm to do the outreach on this contract. I said, I don't do land design. I don't know anything about that. They said, yes, but you do outreach. So you can educate people about our project and you can, build trust. And so I said, okay, that makes sense. And so that's how I got my start.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I just need to shift my mindset. Okay. Thank you.
Hey, do you have a question?
Yeah, I have another question, but I don't want to hog out the time. So
no, please go ahead.
So literally I got my start in this whole thing, just something I was already doing. A local DSS had reached out to me and said, hey, we have these individuals that are going through the VIEW program, which is most of the time, individuals that are, on TANF and getting all this government support. So they have career dollars that they have to take them through a program. So that's how I initially got started. This was not my plan. It literally fell in my lap. And I had to figure it out because I wasn't sending that 5-figure contract back. So I figured it out.
Right, exactly.
So now that I figured it out, I just completed my 4th contract a couple of months ago. And so now I'm in the process of really understanding that there is money here. There's more opportunity here. I do have one employee that kind of helps me with the administrative stuff, but I still work full time. And
wow,
so
you're doing it.
Navigate my way through all of this so that I can eventually just, work for myself. So as you stated, I've just kind of been staying in contact with people that I've done contracts before in the past. So I just sent out, just another program that I created on a virtual platform because with COVID. So, hey, this is what I'm doing, just did this. So I just sent them a rate sheet. They asked for a rate sheet. So I sent that. So my question for you is, one, do you have, or do you know where I can access any templates for some of this stuff? And two, do you know of a website or somewhere that I can go to really kind of look at what the rates are for certain services so that I make sure that I'm not cheating myself?
That's such a good question. And I think that question is really the new frontier of government contracting, because it's been hidden from us for so long. I wish I had an answer, right? I think that it's going to be a matter of going to the SBA, rate standards, standard rates for mileage, things like that. But are you talking about more so professional services? Thank you, Sabrina. Are you talking about professional services, like templates and rates for that?
Yes, because I'm pretty much, after looking at the layout of everything, because I've been trying to figure out where I fit. So from what you laid out, I definitely fit under social services. Most of the contracts I've had have literally been with social services and one other workforce development agency in the Richmond area. So it's been around career development, leadership training, those types of things. And so although all my contracts have been 5-figure contracts, I still want to make sure I am not leaving money on the table because my rate sheet is too low. And so, and even with the rate sheet, like literally it was me Googling some stuff, trying to figure out how should this look, because still making sure I want to present myself in the best professional manner to these individuals. So yeah, I've literally just been trying to figure it out. So
I'm
Amplify Charlotte, I know is probably going to be one of my best friends.
Oh, thank you. I hope it's helpful. Yeah, go on our website and then go down to, matter of fact, I feel like our other website might be better, the Get Local Government Contracts website.
Okay.
Governmentcontracts.com. Disparity studies.
Okay.
Look in your state, look to see what disparity studies were done in your state to see what the spending was in the past years, and just see if they're doing better than they used to. And the other thing about rates is just talking to people in your industry and just making sure that your rates are on par. And, it's more of a private conversation.
Okay.
I think just like you, probably when I started out, I was really undercutting myself in terms of my rate. And I think my rate starting out was $80 per hour as a consultant. And so that sounds like a lot, but it truly is not a lot as a consultant.
Yeah.
And these diversity and inclusion consultants, some of them get paid up to $500 an hour on the corporate side. On the government side, you have to be a little bit more competitive, but you still have some room. There's still definitely some room, especially if you're taking on these big contracts yourself, then you should be able to command a rate like that. But if you are a sub, you want to be careful about your rate because you still want it to be competitive and quote unquote affordable, right? In comparison to the amount of work that you're doing.
Cool. Yeah, I had never even really heard of being a subcontractor on a larger contract. I've literally been taking everything on myself. So yeah, it's it's been very time consuming and a learning curve. One more question I have for you with the certifications. Since I'm in the process of doing that now, are these multiple certifications, or is there an opportunity where when I complete one, I literally just kind of check off for all that I'm applying for?
It's going to be different levels. So no, unfortunately, you have their state level, your local level, and your federal. And so at the local level, some of them do cross over, like the SBE and the MBE. Like for, if at the local level, you can do more than one, but again, you're not going to have a City of Charlotte certification that then gets you certified for the state of North Carolina.
Okay. Got it. Okay. All right. All right. So the certification I'm working on now is state level. Of course, I've already been getting local government contracts. I'm kind of wondering, is that even a necessity at this point?
Do they have one?
No, I haven't even researched it because I didn't even know that. I just knew about the state level.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go back and do some research and find out, is there, more of a local level certification?
And they might not have one, especially for a state like Virginia. Virginia might be more focused on military So there might be more more military money coming through. And so it's really going to be up to that state. But it looks like we are returning back to, I mean, it didn't kick us out, but but it looks like we need to return back to the main session. I really appreciate, your engagement.
So thank you. This has been extremely informative, and I wrote down all your information, and I already follow you on IG. So, follow me back, girl, if you like. I appreciate
All right. Okay, I'm sorry. I must have missed that. I'm gonna send you a message so I can make sure I get your info.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. Wait, let me hit record.